Welcome to Season 21, Week 1 of the ABL. This is the ABL review with your stand-in host, the president of numbers, Brett. Jeremy's currently sick, so I'm going to attempt to record something for you guys to watch. Just a fair warning, I have no idea what I'm doing, and I have no idea how to edit, so this is all going to be one shot, and let's just hope for the best. Let's dive into the battles. Let's start off with ABL superfan Tyler versus Michael. Tyler leads off Swampert into a great nickname from Michael, Calyrex Ice. Unfortunate miss with the Stone Edge, but that honestly probably wasn't going to do a ton to Calyrex anyways. Kind of cool interaction here. Avalanche hits the first time for 37, but because Tyler didn't do any damage, it just does regular. After hitting it with a Stone Edge, it actually does double and picks up the KO there, so that's pretty cool. But Tyler comes in with Meowscarada. Obviously, that Glastrier has to leave. Tyler goes for Triple X. Was kind of a weird play there. Honestly, Flower Trick seems like it would have been the better play. He kind of risked Glamora there coming in and just putting up a shit ton of Toxic Spikes, but you know, it didn't work out too bad for Tyler. This is a really interesting, I think, play right here. Like, this is a huge turning point in the battle, or could have been, honestly, I think, the end of the battle. Michael comes in here and shell smashes with Torterra as Tyler switches out of Raikou. White Herb goes off, so now there's a +2/+2/+2 Torterra in front of Meowscarada. Meowscarada already showed that it switched up moves, so I'm not entirely sure why Michael switches out there. Sucker Punch definitely wasn't killing at that range, and I have to imagine he had something to kill this Meowscarada. Bullet Seed, Rock Blast, Earthquake. I'm not entirely sure. This was just a super strange move on Michael's part, because he was in the driver's seat and he just kind of switched out. And that is not going to play out well for Michael and the rest of this battle. We see the Bulldoze come out, able to pick off this Raikou because it outspeeds because of the speed drop. Michael goes into Abomasnow. Not entirely sure what the plan was there because he just switches out into Calyrex. Again, Calyrex lost its Ice type, so there's no defense boost. Not like this Archaludon's even going for physically offensive attacks anyways. Torterra comes back in. This is another weird play from Michael. He's in with Torterra. Torterra is definitely going to be slower than this Archaludon. So if it survives, it seems like, in my mind, the best bet was to go for Shell Smash there again, but he just decides to go for an Earthquake. And Tyler still refuses to kill this Torterra for some reason, which nets him another kill. But Meowscarada comes in, and just to pivot right back out. And now we see Scarf Goldengo come in, able to take out this Arcanine. And in this endgame, that Goldengo is honestly terrifying for Michael's team. He really has no switch-ins left to make it rain, so all Tyler has to do is manage his switches and manage those drops to kill the rest of Michael's team, which is what we see here. Tyler opts to Terra Psychic on Metacham. There's no way that extra damage from Terra mattered, so I don't really understand what the reasoning was there, but style points to Tyler, I guess. So like I said, this Goldengo is able to come in. It's shown that it's Scarfed. Make It Rain can't miss. The last two Pokemon are weak to Make It Rain, so Tyler's able to clean up here. So a good first win in week 1 for ABL Superfan here. I actually think he switches out here to clear the drops. Smart play there. Tyler really showing that when he wants to, he can play around and make a win happen. So good win to Tyler. Tough loss for Michael. Hopefully we'll we'll see something better from next week. Moving on, we have Pap versus. Terribly sorry, I don't remember folks' names in the South. Pap versus Zane. This is a tough one from Pap. I'm just gonna let this play. Turn one, webs go up, and spoiler alert, they stay up for the entirety of the game. I'm not really sure whether or not Pap had clearing on Corviknight. I think we'll see part of it set that we can talk about here later, but this is just a really tough situation for Pap to be in. Yeah, he's a Pokemon up, but he's got everything grounded except for this Corviknight. He tries to Iron Defense here. Both players making a double switch. Gouging Fire switching out of that Corviknight so he can't continue to set up on it. Corviknight switching out into Primarina, presumably on a potential fire move out of this Gouging Fire if he wanted to go for it. But Pap ends up in a really awkward position with Zapdos in front of Primarina, so he obviously has to leave again. So Pap just ends up really on the back foot for the rest of this battle. Not a whole lot left to say. I think right here is where, like, I feel like Pap really, if he had it, he needed to be prioritizing defogging so that his potential offense in the back would have something to do, but he just U-turns out. So I know Pap said he didn't really have a lot of time to prep this week. Maybe that we're just seeing the effects of that play out here, but yeah, who's to say? Also, U-turn Iron Defense is an odd combo. Setup moves plus pivoting moves aren't usually found together. We see the Cloyster come in, its White Herb gets popped, and it gets popped by a Heat Wave. So there goes one of Pap's offensive threats that potentially could have set up to outspeed things, but it just doesn't pan out for him. He gets a big knockoff on Zapdos, not enough to pick up a KO, but in comes, I think I did some calcs. I think this is Banded and now Terra Water, Tauros Aqua, which is able to just kind of Raging Bull through the rest of Pap's team, honestly. Like, Primarina is bulky, but not bulky enough to deal with this. Pap tries to go for a last-minute Calm Mind. I'm not entirely sure that mattered, but I think honestly Pap just realized at this point that he was out of the game and is not feeling too great about it. So tough to see Pap lose like this. But Zane gets a first good win after. I think he was one of the folks that got relegated down to the south. So encouraging to him that he got relegated and was able to pick up a win in this week one for a team. Oof. Yeah, we're just gonna see Treads clean up here with 2 earthquakes. Let's just skip forward on that. Sorry, Pap. Okay, moving on. We've got the returning Michigan Mudsdales in the Rising Superstar. Mitch taking on Connor. Mitch's team, honestly, he had a very similar draft to myself. We both picked up Ursaluna Blood Moon. Excited to see what he does with it in the south, and we'll see how I enjoy it in the north. We see the lead of Spite Ops versus Whimsicott. Whimsicott opts to go for a Terra Rock and then Tailwind turn 1. A big thing that I saw out of Mitch's team looking at his draft, Mitch has no clearing in his draft. So this Spite Ops, any hazards that it gets up, they're staying up. So really smart bring from Connor to bring the one thing that Mitch can't get rid of. But honestly, Tailwind turn 1, not the move I would have personally gone for. If you need to bridge the gap of not being able to remove hazards, you got to prevent hazards from going up. I would have really preferred to see maybe a taunt there, or honestly even an encore to stop the pain of more hazards going up, because there's no doubt that the Spite Ops maybe even has regular spikes sitting in the back. So we see the balloon get popped on the Volcanion. Tornadus going for Bleakwood Storm. Unfortunate series of events here. There's going to be a lot of misses in this game. Uh, Connor ends up missing a Steam Eruption, which I think is only a 95% accurate move. So that's a real bummer there, and I think we're going to see some bleak ones from Mitch's side end up missing to the left there. But I want to pause here because this is a really interesting turn. When we have this Tornadus U-turn out into Gudra. Gudra in versus this Volcanion. Not Gudra versus Volcanion, but Gudra in versus the Volcanion, and then he opts to go for an Outrage. I feel like Jirachi was a pretty free switch in here, and honestly, even the Gliscor, I'm not entirely sure why Mitch decided to lock himself into Outrage. There was really no way that Connor was going into Baxcalibur or Tornadus maybe, but Tornadus really wasn't a threat to Gudra anyway. So this is just a really unfortunate loss of HP for this Gudra that is poisoned and is unable to do not a lot of damage to this Jirachi. He's just able to wish everything back up. So really a bummer there for Mitch to lose Gudra there, and also this Volcanion is back in, and Mitch's team, now that this Whimsicott has Terra rocked, water type attacks are not something that he can switch into well, especially if this is not a water absorbed Clodsire. So really on the back foot, I feel like from Mitch's side. He really has no good way to kill this Gliscor other than maybe Blood Moon. Nothing on his team wants to hit it super effectively. He doesn't have any ice or water stab on this team, so we really just see some pivoting around. Clodsire goes down to an Earthquake. Whimsicott comes back in, I think, to set up another Tailwind. Again, I really struggle with Tailwind. Obviously, Connor going for Ice Fang there, trying to catch the Torn. Although Earthquake would have picked up the KO, so I understand why he did that. Here's a real fun play. Blood Moon comes in and is able to drop Gliscor into one. You don't often see a Gliscor lose 100% of its health, but we see from Mitch that the reason it was able to do that is because this is Choice Specs Blood Moon, and he struggles himself to death. I really feel like here, if you're going to run Specs Blood Moon, you've got to be able to click Blood Moon and then pivot out. And Mitch has got a great pivot in Torn with Regenerator. He's built his team in a way to support Blood Moon, but he doesn't play it, I think, the way that he should here. Granted, I don't think it changes the outcome of the battle, but it really, if Mitch is going to have success with Blood Moon, I think he's really got to learn to pivot out when it matters. We see Jirachi go down to the Magma Storm. This Volcanion's able to come in and just kind of clean up with Steam Eruption. We see that Bleak Windstorm miss. Again, I don't think it really matters. I think Connor has too much in the back that Mitch can't deal with at this point, so he's able to clean up with Volcanion. But even if Volcanion went down, like Baxcalibur was going to be able to come in and clean house. So good win to Connor. Good plays by Mitch. Obviously, this is his first season back in a while, so maybe he's a little bit rusty. We'll see how that shakes up as we move through the rest of the season. Hopefully he's able to pick up some wins here in the back. All right, moment of truth. We have our marquee match of the week. I don't really have the audio to do this, so we're just gonna see if this works.
Hang on. There we go.
Marquee match of the week. Now we have a theme.
Okay, hopefully that worked. We have our marquee match of the week between the most dangerous man of the league, Zhang, versus the relegated Mike, with his new team, the Southside Squirtles. I haven't really been saying folks' names because I barely struggle with with you guys' first names, let alone your team names. So let's dive into it and see how it goes. Zhang bringing his psychic terrain-ish team, Iron Crown and Sceptile both benefiting from that psychic terrain. Mike leading off with Pheasantipity, goes for the U-turn. This is probably Toxic Chain, but Zhang's Gargle D's nuts. His ability Purifying Salt means it can't get poisoned, so not really any luck there, but we see an exchanging of rocks. Salt Cure goes off. Able to just start chipping down at this Lando, but Lando's just going to pivot out into this Slowking. I'm assuming here, Mike did what I did and drafted Slowking plus Beartic. Obviously, coming in on a Pokemon that can run Salt Cure against you is a little bit dangerous. I would have really liked to see a Chilly Reception right there. Like, getting the Salt Cure chip was really inconsequential, but this Slowking's great as a pivot. It's not really an offensive threat, so throwing off a Surf there was a little questionable. He's able to get the Chilly Reception off in front of this Malamar and go into Beartic. We do see Beartic take rocks damage, which means that this is not heavy duty boots Beartic. I'm really curious as to what item Mike went with here. I'm a big fan, obviously, of a well-played Beartic. Close combat is questionable. I think Mike really should have tried to go for an Ice Stab, but I think we'll see why he didn't go for an Ice Stab here in a second. Really shocked. I guess not really shocked. It's a Malamar, but this Beartic's able to survive a -1 superpower, probably because of this boost to the defense in the snow. And so here we get to see Mike go for Ice Stab, like I think he should have to begin with. But he ran with Icicle Crass and misses and goes down to another superpower. Like I said, really curious what the item on this is. Typically, when I've run Beartic, you run Loaded Dice, Icicle Spear. Maybe this is some sort of Resist Berry. I don't particularly know what Mike's plan was here. Unfortunate that he gets the miss. But this Malamar has switched up moves. We see that it's not Scarfed, so a U-turn's able to come in and pick him off. And he goes back into Pheasantipity, which allows Zhang to go into really whatever he wants, Great Tusk, or he decides to go into this Indeedee. Mike's able to pick up some good information that this Indeedee is Choice Scarf because it's able to outspeed, which is going to be tough. His only switch into Choice Scarfed Psychics is going to be this Bisharp and this Slowking, because he's got to be careful to keep those pieces around. Obviously switches out of the Indeedee in front of this Bisharp, able to go for a Night Slash there. It's a weird turn of events from what he decides to switch out, obviously not wanting to get Salt Cured, because it's going to do 25% to this Bisharp being a Steel type. I haven't done the calc on that, but I feel like an Iron Head, that was a risky play by Zhang to just sit there and recover. One Iron Head flinch would have meant a dead Garganachi, but it worked out there for him. Able to pivot through the Slowking into this Landorus, get off some good Earthquake damage on this Necrozma 2.0 that's trying to set up in front of him. Honestly, turn 14 was a really dangerous turn in my mind. Like, Iron Crown really wants to run this like Double Dance, Calm Mind, Agility, and honestly, on the latter, people are running Weakness policy. So the fact that Mike went for an Earthquake there, I'm not saying that that's a bad move, because I don't really know what else you do in front of this other than maybe go Bisharp and hope he doesn't have a fighting move. But in a different world, if this thing agility'd right there after surviving, I think it might have been over even earlier than this battle ends up being, although maybe it's too difficult to get through Slowking, who's to say. fun to see a rapid spin kill from this great Tusk named, I have no idea how to use this. Zeng, Zeng coming through with some pretty funny nicknames here. I think all of Mike's nicknames are friends themed. So both of these guys coming in with good nicknames. Here comes the beginning of the end. Able to pivot out of this Sceptile that's got its Unburden boost. I don't really know what Zeng's Terra types were here, but I really think Mike's only chance to survive this. Actually, let's go back a player two, because I've been trying to figure out how Mike was supposed to deal with this at this stage in the game, and I'm not sure that he had an out. Okay, so we got Sceptile coming in on the Slowking. Slowking, Chilly Reception's out. I think here Mike really had to go Sneasler. Pheasantipity, yeah, it has super effective Sludge Bomb, but Pheasantipity is not very strong, and this thing has a Spadef boost from its Psychic Seed. Yeah, it just really allows this Sceptile to set up a Swords Dance on the Sludge Bomb, able to Terra Steel to avoid it. Like I said, I think Sneasler was his only bet. We see this thing show Earthquake. It had a chance to live an unboosted Earthquake from full. Obviously, rocks are up, so I'm not entirely sure what the roll would have ended up being, but just a really unfortunate ending here, because this Sceptile is able to get up to +4 and just clean up house. So Zeng proving to be the most dangerous man in the ABL. As always, he's got another funky team. He went all weather last season. Now he's going all terrain this season. We'll see how it plays out. I'm excited that I don't have to play him, to be honest. Okay, let's figure out how to see the rosters. Oh god. Okay. Ad drops. I have no clue what Terra's changed. Looking through these Terras, nothing super surprising. One thing to call out, Zeng has gone for a Terra Stellar Malamar, which is, still a Malamar, but that's fun. I don't think we've seen anyone. We've seen people take Terra Stellar. I don't think we've seen anybody actually in battle Terra Stellar. So honestly, I'm excited to see what Zeng does with this. I think Scarf Terra Stellar Malamar is something. I don't think it's good, but I think it's something. So excited to see that. Detroit, the only team to make ad drops this week. Darren drops Articuno and Paldean Tauros to pick up Chimecho and Hitmonchan. If we flip to his team page, let's see. He picks up Hitmonchan, picks up a nice Rapid Spinner. I'm a big fan of Hitmonchan. Yeah, I think we've seen this week that hazard removal is important to have. So good on Darren for picking that up. Chimecho, it's not good. It is what? It's a 2-tier Pokemon? Is that what we put it as? Yeah. It's tier 2. It's bad. It's one of the only things that get Heal Bell. That's something. There is a chance you could try to set up with it and run some stored power shenanigans. I don't know. We'll see what Darren decides to do with it. This might just be he needed to fill cap space. So who knows? Let's take a look at the MVP tab. Tyler and Goldengo able to pick up 4 KOs, but I think maybe more importantly is Sceptile here taking 4 KOs. I think Sceptile deserves MVP this week, although this list is in alphabetical order, so that doesn't really reflect it, but I'm not going to change that. What else does Jeremy do? Schedule. Let's look at next week's battles. Tyler versus Connor, Zane versus Mitch, Zhang versus Michael, Darren versus Mike. yeah, I don't really have anything to say about the battles because I didn't prep for that, and yeah, who knows? Sorry for the shortened podcast this week, but I figured this would be better than not having it since Jeremy's sick. So if you don't like it, just wait for him to come back. So yeah, we will see you guys in the north.